and to preserve a legacy and really, you know, take full credit for 8 years of prosperity, he's going to have to get Al Gore elected. And if he doesn't believe Al Gore can do it on his own, neither do I. So what he's going to do is he's, you know, going to do whatever he can to demonize George Bush. And let me tell you something. For former President George Bush to say anything about anyone that's negative takes a lot. He doesn't do it. He hadn't done it for 7 years. He always stays above the board, but he's not going to watch Bill Clinton get himself down in the mud.
All right, Billy. Billy, thanks so much. Hopefully we can join you. You can join us again later this week.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right. Thanks, Billy.
See you guys.
Coming up.
So today was a star-studded day here at the ranch. Talked to Delbert McClinton and Dennis Miller.
Please.
Man, I was on my little on this cell phone. It's probably giving me cancer of the ear.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. We're here at the 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, where yesterday Governor George W. Bush arrived. Dick Cheney took off the gloves and threw red meat to the salivating throngs of the Republican National Convention. And of course, last night I happened to be at the convention with the camera crew. I harassed celebrity journalists, delegates, volunteers, kids, drunks, gorgeous women who were obviously looking for some Philly tube steak. Tim Russell, Dan Rather, Police Chief John Timoney, who, by the way, is like a rock star in this town. I ran into a bored Howard Fireman in the convention halls sporting a can of Heineken in his hands, believe it or not. I threatened to beat up legendary journalist Carl Bernstein to reveal the identity of Deep Throat. We have that on tape. I also ran into Governor Christine Todd Whitman. You know how intense the security was at the Republican National Convention all week, and we found out that she did frisk Colin Powell the night he arrived to get his speech. She actually patted the brother down, and we have that on tape. We harassed House Speaker Dennis Hastert, former Speaker Newt Gingrich, the Fat Bastard, and many others. Plus, we ran up from behind to who I thought was Rush Limbaugh, but who turned out to be Maria Shriver. I swear to God, damn near as big as her Uncle Ted. So hopefully we'll get to some of these clips. But in any case, we did also storm the various impromptu TV news studios at the convention. And by the way, we found that for all the bean counting on the racial makeup of the delegates here by all the journalists, we were hard-pressed to find any African-Americans working for any of these news organizations. Mostly hot little white babes and white geeks, man. What's up with that? That's some hypocrisy. And MSNBC, by the way, MSNBC refused to get my two brothers from other mothers over here some press passes for the convention last night. Stefan Dweck and Monteria Ivy, who came all the way up from Harlem to be here in Philly with me, if you know what I'm saying. He gave me some gravitas. You know what I'm saying? So, assalamu alaikum, my brothers. Two angry brothers here today. What's up?
Well, we're feeling good. We want to say good morning to the I-Man. Hope you're feeling better.
How you doing, I-Man?
Also, we want you to know...
I'm fine.
That's great. We want you to know, I-Man, the big issue here in Philadelphia today is not George Bush. It's not about his speech tonight. The big question is, why was Bernard McGuirk late this morning? We believe that he was with a Philadelphia Republican convention hooker last night. Is that true, Bernard?
Of course.
Don't lie, because we heard she was real cheap. In fact, she was so cheap.
She had a vibrator with a meter.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fine. We'll go back to that later. But I'm McGuirk, Stefan Dweck.
As you were, men. Well, now, this is more like it. Look at the headline in this paper, maggots. Bill to Bushes. It's war. Which, it strikes me, is about as close as our current commander-in-chief will ever get to war, running his fat mouth. But that's another issue. Yeah. This headline, men, refers, of course, to the fact that a war has broken out between the Texas State House and the nation's White House. Which, it also strikes me, the aforementioned commander-in-chief would probably feel more comfortable conducting from a whorehouse. But that's another matter. Yeah. Damn it, let me get to the point, insects. Private, give me a Charlton Heston wino workout on the lights in here. Let's have us a picture show.
NRA all the way, sir.
All right, cease firing. Nice shooting, son. You can join Chuck Heston's AA meeting anytime.
Well, thank you, sir. One bullet at a time, sir.
Very well. Now then, let's fire up the overhead projector, see if we can sort all of this out. Give me slide 8. Identification, Private?
Sure. Here you go, sir. These are my dog tags, and this is my...
No, not your identification, moron. Identify the individual on the screen.
Oh, sorry, sir. Okay, the iron gray hair, the narrowed eyes, the snarling, well-chewed lips, the steam venting from the ears, the intern orally clamped to his presidential seal. That's President Clinton, sir.
Is that your final answer?
Is his seal barking?
It is.
That's my final answer.
You just won Ben Stein's money, son.
Yep.
Slide B. Identify.
Got it. The low brow line, the eyes that are kissing cousin close together.
Right.
The lower lip that's sticking out in a I'm gonna tell my daddy pout. That's the governor of Texas, sir, Junior Bush.
Try it again. And here's what has happened, men. This figure, Bill Clinton, has called this figure, Junior Bush, a sissy-ass, gutless daddy's boy whose sole qualification to be president of the United States is limited to the fact that his old man was, which has royally pissed said old man, who in turn has threatened to pretty much kick the Arkansas pantload's goober-fried butt if he doesn't shut up. What is our responsibility in this matter, lads? Yes, Private?
To try with great dedication to honor and country, sir, to goad them into physically strangling each other, sir.
Exactly. Let's start that process by suggesting other things the two might call each other. Ready? Suggest!
Sir, I suggest the next time the pantload's feeling froggy, George Bush Sr. calls him a weakling, sir.
Oh, stronger.
A cowardly weakling, sir. And the draft dodger.
Stronger.
A cowardly, weak, draft-dodging whoremonger, sir.
Now we're getting somewhere. More modifiers, Private.
A cowardly, weak, draft-dodging, whoremongering, record-shredding, intern-humping, legal counsel murdering, sucking mother charlatan, legacy luster, sir.
Well said, Private. And Clinton can call Bush?
As the private sees it, he can call him only one thing, sir.
And that would be?
Right, sir.
Can't argue with that. Let's conclude, men. In the Clinton-Bush war of insult vituperation, the best thing we can hope for is mutual annihilation. Thank you for your attention, and amen.
There are 400,000 words in the English language, and there are 7 of them you can't say on television. What a ratio that is. 399,993 to 7. They must really be bad. You know the 7, don't you, that you can't say on television? That's huh?
Imus in the morning.
Right, left. Get both sides of the...
Just we're roaming around talking to people, distinguished celebrities like yourself. And how do you feel the convention's going so far?
It's dull.
It's very dull.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say. I mean, I wish some news would break out.
You and Jennings playing cards? Who? You and Mr. Peter Jennings? Who is that man? Who's PJ? But it is a little slow.
We did ride the train down here together. Yeah.
You did. Now, you spoke to Imus the other morning.
I did. How's the young man doing?
He's doing well. He's getting better. He's getting stronger.
I'm worried about him. Is he okay?
He's okay. He sounded good the last couple of days, and with friends like you, bolsters his spirits, and it brings.
What are you doing here? You get to tell me why you were here.
I'm here to interview people like you and try to embarrass them, but I can't do it to you because you're such a good friend.
Oh, come on, you can embarrass them, but
I couldn't possibly.
No, come on. But it's been fairly dull going.
What do you think of The Rock calling out the delegates today?
Well, they all stood for him. Did you notice that?
I did notice that, yeah. He commands respect.
Yeah, I don't know if it was respect or fear, but everybody stood.
I heard Roddy Piper's going to introduce George Bush tomorrow night.
If you believe that, you believe that water runs uphill.
Or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mr. Rather, we're going to let you go. Dan, come on. Dan,
I wish I could give you something you could use here. I don't know. You know, the one thing I say about Imus, he does commercials, but he doesn't do a long infomercial. And that's what this is. It's pretty much a long infomercial, don't you think?
Right, yeah, there's no, there's actually no, there's no back and forth. There's no arguing. Everything is,
Well, that's by design. They want it to be, tightly scripted and all happy-faced. But the thing about an infomercial, I don't watch them neither, but I want to watch an infomercial. I'd rather watch Christy Brinkley try to sell that exercise contraption.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Sure, the Thigh Master or whatever it is she's got going.
Check, please.
Mr. Rather. Dan, nice to see you.
Other stuff.
How do you feel about the vicious attacks from the president on George W. and his dad?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised at the president. I work with the president all the time, but I think this is certainly beneath the president of the United States. He's got 6 months left in his presidency. He's trying to develop a legacy for himself, and I don't know why he wants to get down in the political gutter at a time like this. And, most other presidents or lame duck presidents, they just let both parties go ahead and have their convention and not get down in all this stuff. And he's actually trying to provoke a fight.
Seems like there's a lot of anger there.
Well, I feel a little sad about it. I don't think the president ought to be doing that, and I don't think it does anything to help his future reputation.
Do you think maybe a chubby little intern might alleviate some of this anger from the gentleman?
Well, we'll see. it's...
I apologize. You having a good time?
We're having a great time. It's a great time. I'm upbeat. I think most of our delegates, and certainly all the members of Congress here, are really pumped. We're really pleased with what's happening.
The food is good here?
Food's all right.
You know where I can get a beer?
Anywhere.
Do you know what? Can you tell me where CNN studios are? I'm looking for some Gore 2000 bumper stickers, and I can't find it anywhere.
I don't know. You have to walk around this circle around somewhere, someplace.
I'll take a look. Speaker, thank you. You're a good sport.
Nice
Thank
to
you,
be
sir.
with you.
Okay,
Great.
nice to be with you, sir. Here at the Republican National Convention, back to you. We're here at the Republican National Convention with some young, very young delegates. What's your kid's name?
Margaret Haley Phillips.
Oh, how nice, Margaret. And your name, young man?
Jackson Vaughn.
Jackson, you're very handsome in your suit. And you, ladies?
My name Meredith Byers.
Meredith. And you?
Piper Vaughn.
Now, are you kids having fun here at the convention? Do you know what we're doing here?
Like it, you can his Little did you know, upon purchasing this album, you have just kissed his ass. Slim Shady is fed up with your and he's going to kill you. Anything else?
Yeah.
Imus in the morning.
It's my dream that every person with a life
Hold on. Oh, no.
No, well, I mean, this is absurd. Hold on just a second.
That's not him, is it?
What did you... A brief technical glitch. Hold on. It is 24 after the hour. A man banned for life. And apparently... What are you thinking about? God is instrumental in this, because God will not allow us to technically put him on the air. What is the problem, Bernard?
Apparently the connection was cut. He was coming to the phone as you were introducing him.
Right.
And he shall be here momentarily.
He wasn't there yet.
Well, where's Senator... Oh, dear. Do I have either one of them?
And,
Good morning, I'm in. There you go. Look at this, huh? You got a twofer. What can a guy get, huh? Man, oh, man.
Make an Imus sandwich.
Country or what?
Senators hanging from the chandeliers, man.
Good. Here, Joe, listen, Joe, you go off and campaign. You don't have to say on this show, Joe. Yeah, I'll defend you, Joe.
Chris has...
I'll take on this kind of cowboy hat. Joe, you go back down to Nashville. I know. Who the hell does this guy think he is out there in that little ranch of his?
That's true. He's getting to be like my mom.
See this little finger? I see it. Well, that finger's that's crooked like that. Won't straighten out, will it? No, but the middle finger, look at that finger. Look at it. You see this finger? I see them. I see them.
We got the message.
They look stupid. You look stupid. Yeah. Late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were. And, as you know, if there is anything I hate, it's a coward. I despise them, won't abide them, and there will never be one serving in my beautiful army if I can help it. That is why I'm here today, maggots, because I have identified a coward out there among you.
Oh, my God, let's Rodney King his ass, sir. Let's Reginald Denny him. Let's kick him.
At ease, at ease. I fully intend to do just that. Who it is may shock you. Private, execute a death by firing squad maneuver on the lights in here and roll out the video and audio projectors.
Ready, aim, fire, sir.
All right, very well. Cease firing. Nice shooting, soldier. Shades of Gary Gilmore. Very well. Let's proceed with our coward identification process. Slide 1, Private. There, take a good look. Got malleable jellyfish written all over him, doesn't he? Ready? Identify.
Sir, I thought you said who it was going to shock us, sir.
I did.
But that's Don Imus.
Good point, Private. Now then, though the evidence of a rubber ducky, Betsy Wetsy sponge spine in General Imus goes back years, all the way back to when he got out of a Marine Corps mortar unit to literally join the boys in the band, his latest exhibition is the most shameless yet. Less than 18 hours after Imus issued an irrevocable, sealed, immutable, lifetime ban on United States Senator and Vice Presidential candidate Joseph I. Lieberman, 18 hours, the ban, instituted as punishment for the senator having failed to respond to an Imus show appearance request, was rescinded, dropped, and just as irrevocably canceled. Can anybody tell me why? Yes, Private?
Lieberbutt must have called him, sir, or put on a Fred hat or something. You know how he is.
Indeed I do. As usual, General Imus's candy ass once again failed to match his alligator mouth. But this time, the son of a bitch set a new cave-in land speed record. Sank down to those knobby knees faster than a rope-line harlot hustling the 42nd president of the United States. And this, boys, is all it took. If you've all got your six-sacks deployed and ready for instant use, Private, go ahead and hit the intercepted phone call excerpt I've got on that audio playback unit.
Well, here you go, sir.
Why did you call this morning?
Why did I call?
Yeah.
I miss you. The truth is, if I had my druthers out now, I'm going to get in trouble. Yours would have been the first interview I would have done on Wednesday morning, but they had me pre-scheduled.
Thank you very much, Senator Lieberman, and good luck.
Thanks a lot, Don. Charles Bernard. Have a great day, great weekend. Glad you're feeling better, Don.
Thanks, Senator Lieberman.
See you soon.
Well, isn't that special? If that don't trigger your gag reflex, boys, then nothing will. Two men of principle. One who swallows his damn virtue to hook up with a certified fraud running for president, and the other who just, well, swallows. Man, our moral barometer just bottomed out. Pathetic. All right, lighten things up a little here before we dismiss. Here is the laugh line of the week. After a bunch of them got caught in the act, Executive Branch spokesman Jake Seward says, and I quote, "Downloading pornography is a violation of White House policy." Well, I agree. A violation of White House policy, just not Clinton White House policy. Actually, boys, I don't know why anybody would bother downloading porn in the Clinton administration. Because, and attention, Senator Lieberman, as this old soldier understands the facts, an Oval Office peephole would get your live sex acts. Thank you for your attention, boys. That is all.
24 after the hour here in the Imus in the Morning program. Oh, that's a very good point.
Oh, man. Pretty harsh.
We could have to write another essay for Monday. So we'll see in just a couple of minutes when we go live to Los Angeles with Bernard McGuirk, Monteria Ivy, and Stefan Dweck as they attempt to make, well, frankly, a comeback. Here on the Imus in the Morning program, there are live reports from the Democratic Convention in Los Angeles, sponsored by
George,
Jeep.
let's write a letter to Lena Dixon, the woman that's running the new column in the daily paper, giving advice on family trouble.
Nothing doing. We writ her a letter when she first started that column last week, and she answered the thing in your favor. She's all for the women's side of the argument.
I want you to know that Lena Dixon is unbiased.
I don't care what her nationality is. I ain't go right to the women.
Imus in the morning.
Well, when it comes to investing in the stock market.
What? Also, the crosstown buses are being detoured to 8th and 9th Street because of that crane accident. Westchester-bound Tappan's egregious bumper-to-bumper crosses banned because of police activity in the right lane. This is causing a backup on the southbound New York State Freeway from exit 11, 20 to 25 inbound at the Holland to Lincoln tunnels, only a minor wait at the inbound George Washington Bridge. Right now, it's 70 degrees, going up to a rainy high of about 75 today. This report's brought to you by Fox Navigation, which announces daily high-speed ferry service from Long Island to Foxwoods Resorts Casino. Let America's fastest ferry service deliver you to Connecticut in just 2 hours. I'm Lori McNichol for the Reuters Fan Highway Patrol.
That's some very ugly words with Chicken Jack out here at the ranch, Charles.
What happened, High Man?
Well,
what's a problem?
A lifestyle
I
of poor
can't
Chicken
believe
Jack.
that.
Who's trying to get over. He goes home and he works at the ranch about 12 hours a day and, you know, shuttling the kids around and all that, and then goes home, gets all liquored up, puts on John Mayall or John Prine or somebody, and there we are.
Well.
All right, let's go now live to Los Angeles. And our very fine reporters out there, the executive producer of Imus in the Morning, Bernard McGuirk, and the always amusing Monteria Ivy, and Stefan Dweck. This Imus in the Morning live report from the Democratic Convention in Los Angeles is sponsored by Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. Good morning, Mr. McGuirk, Mr. Ivy, and Mr. Dweck. Bernie?
Man,
Good morning, Mr. Imus. We're out here in downtown Los Angeles. Can the Imus hear me?
Not
Good
hearing
morning,
him?
Chief. Imus in the morning.
Don't
We're out
hear
here
him.
at
I don't
Pantry
hear
Cafe all
Probably.
night long. What the deal?
We're not
Charlie?
getting them, you guys.
We're getting him, I-Man.
You're
Yeah,
getting him.
I don't
I'm
know
not.
why. We're getting you, Bernie, but the I-Man isn't for some reason.
You mean the old
I
jerk
can't
can't
hear
hear us?
anything.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
That's
you're-
right. That's exactly
The
right.
wrinkled up old jackass, he can't hear us? That's
No,
too
he
bad.
can't hear you. That's right.
Joe,
Turn off the oxygen, he can't hear us. What's the matter?
We heard that essay about us. He wrote that, Al Gore.
Get up on the bell. You fool.
Walter Cronkite.
You can't hear us?
Long-winded.
I don't think, I-Man, are you hearing him now at all?
You should.
No, I can't hear
he can't hear. He cannot hear a word you're
I
saying.
can't.
Okay, I got you.
That is a shame. What a shame. The schmuck can't hear it. That's
Now.
terrible.
I still can't hear
Ron
him.
Kenney, they suck.
Wait, what are they saying
No,
about me?
nothing, I-Man.
Nothing bad.
They're just wondering whether or not you can hear them.
Yeah.
I can't hear a word they're saying. Well, why don't you be quiet, Charles, and Mark and Lou? I can't hear them. Are they talking now?
No.
Yeah, we're talking now, Pop.
Can you hear us, I-Man?
We're talking now, Pops?
You can hear him.
Well, of course I can hear him. We're talking now, Pops? We call the I-Man a schmuck. I heard that.
Oh,
You bald-headed, bug-eyed doofus. All right, let's try it again. Now, live from Los Angeles, here's Bernard McGuirk, Stefan Dweck, and Monterey Ivy. Good morning, Mr. McGuirk.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. We're at the Pantry Cafe, which is an all-night diner out here in L.A., where various drunken Democratic delegates have been coming in and out all night. We figured it's our only hope of running into Tipper Gore, though I did speak to her last night here at the convention. And we spoke to a lot of celebrities, just to please Mark Chernoff, all kinds of Hollywood types, Tommy Lee Jones, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and we have a lot of stuff. Cameron Manheim actually called me an a-hole twice on tape. I felt like I was at work. We have all this on tape. Anytime the I-Man wants to roll on it, we're good to go. But right here, I'm with a couple of angry brothers. What's up, my brothers?
Hit it, Monty.
Well, good morning, Mr. Imus.
Hey, I-Man.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
We appreciate that commentary by Walter. Come out here on our free time, the favor of you, and this is the type of abuse that we get.
That's right.
But no problem, Imus. We will take a page from your book, and just as when your career was on the scrap heap, you rose again like the phoenix, and so will we.
Absolutely.
So first off, we want to give you a bit of news. Number one, Stefan here had a little accident yesterday at the convention. He had an accident going up the escalator. He broke a rib, but like the true trooper that he is, he's out here this morning doing his thing for the I-Man.
He looks like he's about to sing YMCA.
Oh, you bald testicle.
Also, we wanted to issue an apology, not to you, Imus, but to a member of your staff. Yesterday, Ivy and Dweck, we felt that we were the victims of some very nasty invectives coming back from the studio, and we mistakenly credited that to Mr. McEnroe.
We're very sorry.
We're very sorry about that. While you are the second best player in your family and your golf game leaves a lot to be desired, you were not the person who was hurling the insults at us or playing dog pile on the rabbit when the I-Man was dogging Ivy and Dweck. We found out exactly who that was, which was Lou Shrimp Toast Ruffino. And so we just want you to know, Lou, you want to mess with the brothers? You want to come after the brothers? We coming after you and your family, okay?
Right, Lou. I could have been your father, Lou, but I didn't have enough bananas to get the gorilla out the tree.
But Lou, we know who you are, you little shrimp toast. We're going to come after you. I happen to know your job before you got down with the I-Man. You got fired from your last job at the sperm bank for drinking on the job. But be that as it may, I want to tell everybody out there what happened yesterday at the convention. Millions of Americans yesterday are
Bernie's
appreciative of what Al Gore gave to the country, because millions of insomniacs finally got a good night's sleep after hearing that speech. But what's more important, I-Man, than what was in the convention was the questions that were not answered at this Democratic convention. We want to share those with you now. Question number
what were those
one,
questions?
if elected, will White House dinners be kosher? Question number two, why did the Democrats include Colonel Sanders as a black delegate from Kentucky? Number three, why was Ted Kennedy's speech sponsored by Jack Daniels? And last but not least, how come there were no lesbians speaking last night? They certainly know how to lick Bush.
Hey.
That will be fine.
1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12. Come see the big black gay man at the corner of 9th and Figueroa. 1 Adam 12. So we have Cameron Manheim if you want to roll it, or we have plenty of other takes.
Let's roll it. Yeah, do we have that? The Cameron who?
Manheim.
Cameron Manheim.
The practice.
Well, come on, you just can't. I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
You see, Clinton did overshadow him, didn't he?
No, I don't think he did overshadow him. I think he handed off the baton in a really spectacular way.
What do you think of the timing of the independent council releasing the fact that they might indict President Clinton after he leaves office? The timing of that on Al Gore's big day.
Well, you know, to the independent council, shame on you. shame on you.
You
Always.
would prefer to have Clinton serve another term as opposed to Al Gore, wouldn't you?
You know, to tell you the truth, I think Al Gore is one of the most decent human beings on the planet, and I'm really excited for his first 4 years and then his second term.
One final question. Do you think it's ironic, given that Bill Clinton would like to serve another term, that he might actually serve it in a federal penitentiary?
You know.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
You've got a good sense of humor. Cameron Manheim, thank you.
So,
you know, they cloned a pig the other day. They ought to name it Cameron. She's a slob.
Yeah, she's losing.
I noticed you were shaking hands with her there at the end of it, Bernie. What was that all about?
I was trying to be civil, Imus. I was trying to be civil, unlike the Imus family.
Well, we'll have more reports. Buku more tape reports and other highlights live from the convention in Los Angeles. But McGuirk, Monterey, Ivan, Stefan Dweck, and Monterey and Stefan, while you guys were doing your bit, Bernie was dissing you, standing right there. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. So not only do you have to get after Lou, you have to get after Bernie. Well, Bernie's turned on you.
We'll go after him next hour.
Yeah, but Lou, man, he's a real turd. I mean, Lou's mother is just a...
Okay, 4 minutes left of the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. God,
And he loved to sing a country song. Time Life Music proudly presents the Elvis Presley Country Collection.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies treats, because that's the kind of mom you are.
And I ask you for one thing more. Something that's hard for you to give, something that people hardly ever give anymore.
To the elements, it's an SUV. To your peace of mind, it's a Volvo.
Like you, he's irresponsible and temperamental, but he's cute.
You going? We're guessing it's the highway to hunger's satisfaction called Route KFC. Turn left at 2 pieces of the Colonel's chicken, a thigh and a leg. Look for a side of mashed potatoes with gravy and a freshly baked.
Coming Tuesdays this fall, The Gina Davis Show. A new comedy with kids. The Gina Davis Show.
Your photographs? With the Gateway Photoware package, we'll teach you all about digital photography. Visit one of our 300 stores or call us, featuring the...
is traditional. Will they discover Old English offers superior protection for all their wood pieces? Will they get a minivan? Tune in next time.
Or Allegra season. Enjoy your world with non-drowsy Allegra for people 12 and over.
В нашем организме 70%.
As you'll know.
Survivor more? Do you want more of this stuff, or is it enough? A lot of people emailed us yesterday and said, stop it. I don't watch the show. I don't want to hear about the show. So now it's time to sound off.
Right, they were begging us for a reprieve, but we're not giving it to them.
Yeah,
instead, we are just asking them whether or not they want to call in and give us their beef on if they've had survivor fatigue.
Bericht vorliegt, aber alles deutet auf einen Triebwerksschaden des Airbuses 320 hin, US-Navy-Angehörige.
I know my parents loved me, stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah. Oh, I finally heard them say, it's a different world, ooh, than where you come from. The city is now, yeah. Here's our chance to make it. And if we focus on our goal, you can decide, we can take care. Hey, just remember that you've been told it's a different different world. It's a different world than where you come from. Ooh, 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 than where you come from.
And she loves I Love Lucy. Can you believe? Still going strong. Wonder if Survivor will be here 40 years. Ori Nelson, Bedford, Pennsylvania, one of the coldest towns in America in the summertime. Not really, but it is cold in the winter up here. Still active and enjoys to hunt and fish, and a happy 100. That's all for...
He was one way to eat yogurt, and this is Go-Gurt. You can take it anywhere, because you eat it with your hands.
Corazón divino, hoy te deseamos.
Desde Puerto Rico a
Although George Bush Sr. might say, I'm a major league asshole. That is, if he had the cojones of the fruit of his loins. I'm telling you, I'm beginning to gain some serious respect for Little W. This is the real driver of the Straight Talk Express. They caught him on the mic calling the Washington editor for the New York Times, Adam Clymer, a major league asshole. And that would be objectionable because, hey, Adam Clymer is a major league asshole. He's the guy who wrote that insufferable biography of Ted Kennedy, that 692-page kissy-face suck-up BJ of a book in which he called the senator, quote, a lawmaker of skill, experience, and purpose rarely surpassed since 1789. That, my friends, is a statement that cannot be attributed to just any average run-of-the-mill garden variety asshole. Those are the words of a bona fide, world-class, blue-chip, top-notch sphincter boy. When he accepted the Republican nomination in Philadelphia, Bush said he wanted to change the tone of Washington to one of civility and respect. Well, he was being respectful. He didn't call Clymer some AAA farm team asshole. He gave the whining little weenie his props. Major league. That's a professional in my book. And as far as the civility thing is concerned, have you seen a picture of this guy, Clymer? Kind of a cross between Charles Lawton, Sidney Greenstreet, and a wide-mouthed bass with glasses. W could have very easily called him a big fat asshole, but he didn't. Is that civil enough for you? Some people in the media are saying that the innocent little remark was less than presidential, especially seeing as how he refused to apologize for it, only expressing regrets that it was overheard. Well, if I'm not mistaken, that fat, tall president of yours didn't apologize for getting his finger polished in the Oval Office either, just expressed regrets that he got caught. Hey, that was pretty presidential, huh? Although, come to think of it, if it was Clinton who had been caught making a disparaging remark about somebody, he probably would have gotten into some kind of semantical debate about what your definition of the word asshole really is. Because, you know, depending on your perspective, what some find derogatory could actually be considered as a compliment to others. As an asshole, Clymer isn't alone. He's in very good company, along with such distinguished names as Rush Limbaugh, Pat Buchanan, Rosie O'Donnell, and Rick Kaplan, who apparently just got a pink slip from CNN. And I'm telling you, Clymer should be proud to be included in a list with somebody like that. Because if a colossal butt wipe like Ted Turner couldn't even stand having him around anymore, Rick Kaplan must be the Lord God King of assholes. All hail his holiness, Richard III.
That's a little harsh, isn't it?
Man, oh man.
But we're not done even. It's quarter after the hour. The National News is sponsored by sixfiguredjobs.com. It's a quarter after the hour.
As I leave you, I want you to know, just think how much you're going to be missing. You don't have Nixon to kick around anymore.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
And now we'd like to welcome to the Imus in the Morning program our senior political analyst, Richard M. Nixon.
Thank you very much. Imus in the morning.
Imus in the morning.
Well, over 50 million people are investing online.
Will give us another nice day tomorrow with a high once again around 74 degrees. So we're thinking low 70s today. getting toward the mid-70s tomorrow. And then Friday, we should make it to 80 degrees, get a little bit warmer over the weekend. Chance of showers, at least the way it looks now, by the end of the day.
To the market. News of this has sent IVAX's stock plummeting. Yesterday, the company fell more than 7% as investors anticipated an unfavorable.
Shouldn't everything be this simple? Thousands of new and pre-owned cars from AutoVital.com. Low, no haggle pricing and a pre-owned car guarantee. AutoVital.com.
Washington senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Indeed, indeed. And thank you very much, as always, Mr. Imus. In the morning, a proclamation, if I may. Hereinafter, when a member of the Imus family, professional or personal, shall find him or herself getting the shaft, the act of shafting shall be known as getting nanced. Thanks a lot, Jimbo. Right, J.D.? Oh, and you Patsy, couldn't see how they were jerking you around? Of course you guys lost. You're too stupid to play golf or anything else. Jim Nance was a plant. This is the biggest sports scam since the Black Sox scandal, and you fell for it. Oh, I've got a set of Firestone tires to sell you, chump. Pathetic. Oh, speaking of that, I think that just might be a way to resolve our nation's traffic woes, I do. Mandate that every person operating a motor vehicle within the United States equip said vehicle with a set of Firestone Wilderness ATs. I believe it would be remarkable how quickly traffic problems diminish when there are no longer any cars, or drivers for that matter, just one huge coast-to-coast organ donor bank and a pile of smoking metal, which makes me think about people who would all like to give a set of Firestone tires. Bobby Knight, for example, Barbara Streisand, the Baldwin brothers, the Wayans brothers, after Marlon and Sean's hosting performance at the MTV Awards the other night, and Jim Carrey. God almighty, get that tedious bastard in a set of Firestones now. I don't know where this hostility is coming from, Donna, but most likely, I suppose, from Al Gore's appearance on Oprah the other day. That was so painful, you needed medicinal marijuana to watch the damn thing. Did you catch some of those pin him down, stick your knee in his groin questions she asked?
Okay, favorite quote?
Bob Dylan, those who are not busy being born are busy dying.
Favorite time of year?
Springtime.
Favorite thing to sleep in?
A bed.
Oh, good God. Did I say put Oprah on a set of Firestones? And make them dump truck size, of course. Anyway, what else? Well, on the subject of women in the news, this is unfortunate, certainly. Joan Kennedy, J.D., Teddy's ex, nailed on Cape Cod after a following motorist reported to the Fuzz that she was driving like a wiffle ball. Joan, you're 64 years old. Put the bottle down and dry out. All right. Other very brief items. A rush shipment of Hooked on Phonics to George W. Bush, I do. After glancing over that list of Bushisms a listener compiled and sent you, I concluded that Junior makes his dad, or Mel Tillis for that matter, sound like William F. Buckley. His teeth are dyslexic. He's a certified idiot, and he's got to win. Otherwise, we're losing 4 years of material that writes itself. The result of the most powerful nation on earth being run by a middle-aged Teletubby. Oh, Oprah's going to do him next week. Well, not do him in the Clintonian sense, I guess. You know what I mean. Anyway, that'll be illuminating because, to paraphrase the late Ann Richards, poor George...
No, Governor Richards is still alive.
With all those wrinkles? Yeah. Please. Anyway, poor George, he was born with a silver spoon, his daddy's foot, some twisted sense of noblesse oblige, and a pile of in his mouth.
Interview just conducted with him, and it's terrific. I told Charles, I said, well, you know, they require work, and...
yeah.
And sometimes I feel like doing it, and sometimes I don't. So, I mean, ordinarily I do all of them. I don't have, we don't have somebody on the staff who writes questions for me. I write my own questions or whatever.
Right.
So it requires that I do it. You don't assign this to somebody and hand me a card with a bunch of questions on it. So, but I like Evan Thomas. That's one.
Oh, I was, as Bernie said, it was riveting. It really was.
But it's. Man, it's a compelling book about you know.
Okay, Lance, what do you think? It's a tough one, huh?
Actually, I really wasn't paying attention to the claps because I already knew deep down in my heart that.
9-3. Taking a look at our satellite map, what's left of Tropical Storm Helene is moving through eastern South Carolina toward North Carolina. That's given us the drizzle and fog we basically had all day and will continue to have all night. Our radar map shows us a few showers speckled across eastern West Virginia, northern Virginia, and extreme southern Pennsylvania.
Castle.
The 26-year-old Naomi Castle from Sydney puts Australia ahead. 1:43 to go in the game. Beauregard. Down low.
Automatic delivery and unconditionally guaranteed price protection. What could be better? Protect yourself this year. Choose Lehigh Fuels and cap your heating oil price to
a month. One service, one bill, one low price. Because some things were just meant to be together.
Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours.
I was imagining myself being way up there, and I was thinking, uh-oh, it's a long way down.
Kathy became to give more to poor members of their community. He'll stop at 28 casinos on his 1,000-mile journey.
There were 5 young sea lion pups who used to come in each day, and Zoe would play around them and they'd come in and be very curious, and we called them the catastrophe kids.
Call me for your free reading now and let Miss Cleo help you answer your question.
1-800-991-8818.
Crazy, but if you're looking to hit the beach in March and April, our vote for the wildest vacation destinations on the planet are South Padre Island, Texas, Cancun, Mexico, and Negril, Jamaica. It's spring break, baby.
Yeah, baby! Spring break, South Padre Island! Man, it's great!
Texas.
Naked people everywhere! People pulling their clothes off, getting drunk, partying, which is also what you'll find on the show.
It's
not just what I get to be. It's not just who I get to meet.
Every Saturday, some friends of mine get together and we hang out and watch a movie on Toon Disney.
Columbine burned an unforgettable image on our mind. How could something so sinister happen in Middle America? And could it happen again? Amid the strong voices calling for tougher laws and better protections for our children, how does one of the greatest enemies of our children's innocence go unnoticed? Television. There's a war being waged for the heart and soul of our children in nearly every living room in America.
This top is, just do this. You can wear this top to the supermarket. When you are saving with your detailed coupons, this lady was in the line the other day with her coupons. She goes, I got coupons today.
This Monday, don't make a sound. He'll grab all your goodies left hanging around because he's the meanest, the greenest, the most extremist creature found. And this Monday, he's back in town.
You're the
Grinch! Grinch gear and more.
The Christmas spirit of 19th century England during the QVC premiere of Buyer's Choice Limited Christmas Carolers. Unique handcrafted figurines
At the risk of sounding cheesy, think I fell for the girl on TV.
Anyway, but where we are, and my leader and my traitor, did I take a step too far?
By hardworking people. I want to set my own goal. The new Transamerica Gold.
Messages are better than being on the telephone.
AOL parental controls help safeguard your kids.
There's an 800 number that you can call 24 hours a day.
On AOL, your privacy and security are always protected.
AOL has it all.
They just keep making it better and better and better.
Motrin brings you What's Up Today.
Defending Olympic champion Michael.
And you know what? I don't need a million ingredients. Goya Adobo makes it easy. I can create great meals with real flavor. The kinds of meals that bring everybody back.
Treasures. It's coverage beyond your expectations.
Track, designed to take you anywhere. So if you're ready to break free, see your Ford Outfitter, your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Well, you could see some isolated showers and thunder showers continue yet here over the next couple of hours. We have this strong cold front which is diving on down to the south. This cold front pushing out to the east as well. Showers and thunder showers.
News Network, powered by CNN.
This news, we are drawing closer to Ted's decision day. Sources close to Ted say that he is looking forward.
Man, this Ted must be something.
Get me this Ted.
Get me this Ted.
Get me this Ted.
I'm on that.
What do you mean we haven't heard from Ted yet?
Picture this. A place down by the lake, front yard of crystal blue water, plenty of room for the kids.
World outside speeds up to rush hour. Romance Classics invites you to put on the brakes, put up your feet, and have tea with Fee.
Simplicity and tea have always gone together.
It's a refreshing blend of tea and a movie.
Wouldn't it be great to just stop all the noise and take a moment to recharge?
Be our guest for Tea with Fee. Weekdays at 5 Eastern, only on Romance Classics.
Introducing the Auto Hammer, the world's first one-handed automatic hammer. Just drop in a handful of nails, press the button, and hammer away. It's that easy. Watch again. The Auto Hammer does all the work for you. It's perfect for projects that require lots of nails, saving you heaps of time. Plus, the easy one-handed operation lets you...
The 40th president was elected in an era influenced by the Cold War, an age that reflected his own political obsession to fight the spread of communism.
The president came to office with one or
In a white room with black curtains. Sign, sign, everywhere a sign. Blocking out the scenery, breaking our mind. You and I travel to the beat of a different drum. Come on, people now. Smile.
Spirit of 8 plus 550 shipping. Have your credit card ready.
You talked about as a ratings disaster in the United States. They're actually a spectacular fun.
Firing! All right, rack up the slides and let's assess what the hell went wrong. Let's look at the principals, boys. Slide A. Who's this loser? Private?
Sir, that's Garrison Keeler.
No.
Joy Behar.
No.
Judge Judy.
No.
Ricky Lake.
No, damn it. That's Jim Lehrer, host of the Jim Lehrer News Hour on PBS, in whom we are mightily disappointed. Lehrer is also the moderator, in every sense of the word, of the Bush-Gore debate debacle. And the only thing he didn't do, in my estimation...
Please, may I have your attention, please? Will Dick Cheney please step up? Will the real Dick Cheney please step up? We don't want to have a problem here.
I must admit I've seen a lot of weird choices before, but this guy's a snore, and for Junior to be Gore, he needs someone mature. So he should have tapped that Vietnam hero prisoner of war, but instead he picked someone who made everyone snicker, a guy with a bum ticker, so boring you look for your TV clicker. One of his dad's contemporaries, former defense secretary, not very extraordinary, kind of like doing the wild thing in the missionary. Good they don't need much help in the monetary, cause it's a long way to Tipperary, and if they want to be standing on them Capitol steps come January, better hope this dude don't have himself another coronary. Though he may have a problem with acute angina, at least he knows the name of the president of China, and you won't have to worry about him, a cigar, and an intern's vagina. He doesn't move his lips, he doesn't move his lips, and all the time upon his lap the dummy sits. But even if you're not a big fan of ventriloquism, don't forget this is that new compassionate conservatism. He believes that life is filled with sacrifices, so he wants to raise prices just to make sure there ain't another gas crisis. Now before you start groaning and your mouth starts to foam, and remember, he wants a job so bad he switched his voter registration to Wyoming. He's probably more right-wing than he oughta, voted in Congress against clean water, but he ain't all that bad. He got a log cabin Republican lesbian for a daughter. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and the choice may be zany for the Bush campaign, but we hoping Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and though he may be brainy, he's no John McKinney, but we hoping Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up. Wise like an old owl, laying it on with the trowel, trying to make everyone forget Bush couldn't get Colin Powell. Balls of brass, ready to kick Syria's ass, impress the middle class, hoping he won't need another quadruple bypass. He was the big brain behind the Desert Storm campaign, but couldn't contain or restrain the reign of that insane Saddam Hussein. Meanwhile, Junior remained back in Texas, allegedly doing cocaine. But before you go making up your mind and think it's just a case of the blind leading the blind, they want you to know they'll leave no child behind. Which, come to think of it, wasn't that the way Bubba Clinton was inclined? Oh, yeah, right. Not being able to leave a child behind was what got him in a bind. But Dick don't have problems controlling his zipper, and his wife sure ain't as fat as that censorship chip-tipper. So if you're gonna stick with it, the GOP ticket, remember George Bush has decided to dig it. So don't complain about who we chose. Sing the chorus, here it goes. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and the choice may be zany for the Bush campaign, but we hope a Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and though he may be brainy, he's no John McKinney, but we hope a Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and the choice may be zany for the Bush campaign, but we hope a Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up. He's Dick Cheney, yes, he's Dick Cheney, and though he may be brainy, he's no John McKinney, but we hope a Dick Cheney will please step up, please step up, please step up.
Well, he was a lot better last night than I thought he was going to be, didn't you? I didn't know what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought he might have another heart attack. I mean, I wasn't. Who knew?
Not at all.
But unfortunately, it was an enlightening civil discourse between two.
I know my big forehead makes me look kind of funny, and I sound like Dick Cavett crossed with Ben Stein's money. But I'm noble, high-minded with standards and morals, so one thing's for sure, I won't be getting oral. Came out against Bubba for fooling with Monica, and I don't sport payas, but I do have a yarmulke. I like noodle kugel and kosher knishes, keep everything kosher with 2 sets of dishes. The filth in the media, you know I'll run down, and get it all done before Friday at sundown. With class and with style and appropriate etiquette. Cause like Martha Stewart, I hail from Connecticut. Can't be unorthodox cause I'm religious. I believe public office is something prestigious. Don't act in a way that would cause me embarrassment. Never accused of sexual harassment. No party animal cause I don't get drunk. Didn't try to scam money off no Buddhist monks. I don't do coke, ain't a fan of tobacco. Don't have a fat wife or a brother who's wacko. I never say nothing to cause me discredit. Can swear on the Bible cause I've actually read it. You always can count on my best behavior, and now you are wondering who is this savior. I am Senator Joe Lieberman, and I am a member of the tribe of Abraham. I can't eat bacon or Virginia ham, but I'm hotter than a latke in a frying pan. I am Joseph I. Lieberman, and you know my reputation is spick and span. Man, I hope you know that I'm your biggest fan, cause I'll only be elected if you say I can. Just like the Old Testament, I'm burning bush, cause I want to knock W back on his tush. My big claim to fame is in trying to tame all the violence in movies and video games. To help gut the smut, I promoted the V-chip. In rap music lyrics, I lean towards censorship. So in a way, I'm kinda like Tipper, but I won't get fat cause I fast on Yom Kippur. I love my wife, but you won't have to see me slip her the tongue on national TV. I don't fight dirty, I ain't a mudslinger, nothing up my nose except maybe my finger. No patience for lawbreakers, tough on the criminals. I know how to pronounce big words like subliminal. I may be a geek, but I sure ain't a dork, and I don't have no hard trouble cause I can't eat pork. Clean air is all that I will ever inhale. I'll get rid of the deficit buying wholesale. I'll make Rosh Hashanah a national holiday. And now you wanna know whose is this resume? I am Senator Joe Lieberman, and I am a member of the tribe of Abraham. I can't eat bacon or Virginia ham, but I'm hotter than a latke in a frying pan. I am Joseph I. Lieberman, and you know my reputation is spick and span. Man, I hope you know that I'm your biggest fan, cause I'll only be elected if you say I can. Well, homies, I'm Audi 5000. Thanks, I-Man. See you November 7th. Word to your mom.
32 after the hour here in the Imus in the Morning program. I didn't talk to Charles after the debate last evening because there wasn't anything to talk about. But
with sufficient strength so that would-be adversaries are deterred from ever launching a war in the first place. I think that the administration has, in fact, in this area, failed in a major responsibility.
The American military is the best trained, best equipped, most powerful force in the world, and that Al Gore and I will do whatever it takes to keep them that way.
Bust a move. I wanted to chill, but making all of my travel arrangements was freaking me out. So I went to Priceline.com where you can name your own price for some dope airfare, a hip hotel, a fly rental car. You want some of this? Then you know what to do, dog. Bust a move. Hey, mi amigo. Right.
Anxious, doubtful, not how you should feel with a new
protect them. Instead, they died protecting us.
It was a military family reunion.
If you're crying tears of triumph, then cry on. But I don't want you to cry tears of fear.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right? I love you. You stay strong, all right?
Too.
And you take care of them babies. They're all going to make you proud. I love you, baby. It's going to be all right. And I'm very proud of you. If no one has told you that, I am very proud of you. You hear me?
Thank you so much.
All right, baby. You take care of yourself. God bless you, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Remember that Richard Costello of Bucks County was a computer wizard who worked at the White House for a while, updating the computer systems there.
Okay, what News Time is coming up on 6:38. A political stop for the two women who are behind, two of the top women behind George W. Bush in campaign 2000. Bush's wife, Laura.
Be a pedo back there. Tonight, mostly clear skies. We'll get down to about 46 degrees. In the suburbs, 34 to 40. And heading into tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high.
Day to say goodbye to the sailors lost aboard the USS Cole.
Car and Driver ranked the Mazda Protege ES the #1 compact sedan, beating out Honda, Toyota, and Nissan in an extensive comparison test.
SPN's 2-Minute Drill, the ultimate sports quiz show, Mondays and Thursdays at 7.
I must have had 300 calls. Sell everything! Sell everything! I'll never retire. Well, you're only 30. Well, I'll never retire anyway.
Maybe the biggest sleeper since the Full Monty. A film that's going to lodge itself in the public's affections for a long time to come. A movie so artfully made, so deeply charming, so heartfelt. It's not only pointless to resist, it's damn near impossible. Billy Elliot, rated R. Now playing in select areas. Opens everywhere November 3rd.
Or sharply reduced visibility the first few hours of the morning. Showers and thunderstorms today. The greatest chance, the southwest. Thunderstorms may develop late today.
¿Verdad? A la mano, por si tocan el timbre o algo, me la coloco. Lista. Como los Boy Scouts. Ya tiene.
And Simon here on A&E's Daybreaks. 100 killer DVD players with the ultimate Monsterfest experience. Watch AMC's Monsterfest movie marathons, then go online and test your monster trivia with AMC's Haunted Backlot Screen Test. We're always looking for a nice, plump brain. Plus, you can also score points with our shocking Shockwave games, or dig around the darkened vaults of Universal Studios with our Haunted Backlot Tour. You might find a surprise, or it might find you.
The thing that I've noticed first of all and most of all about the Abdolly is the range of impact. It goes from way up high to way down low in your abs. Before, whenever I worked my abs, I'd have to work upper abs by doing crunches, lower abs by doing reverse crunches, and then, go into a full sit-up. So
cleansing my face, and then, even after using it once, my skin was softer.
Next, the revitalizing toner with advanced skincare ingredients like alpha hydroxy acids.
Strengthens your hair from within. The formula gently opens up the cuticle and goes inside to relax and release the curl of the cortex within the shaft. And then, unlike harsh...
That is so sweet.
Hey, here's your free phone for making the donation.
Want a free digital? Size of those two parts of our population is changing. It used to be that there were many more people in the workforce compared to those who are retired. But that's been changing as our population ages. And there's going to be a big change when the so-called baby boomers, that's where...
Truth is, he voted for a $40 billion giveaway to the insurance companies and HMOs. He told us he's been fighting for us.
Coming your way. Not much happening as far as radar. We had a passing shower, that was it, overnight, and it was just light to the...
Got a lot of international calls to make? Get great rates from home with AT&T's international plan. All day, every day, call 1-800.
And the results are amazing. It's guaranteed to work or your money back. So get to your phone. Here's how to order your own Torso Tiger.
Now, the Faulkner price is guaranteed to be below retail book value, so you can be sure you're getting a great deal. Plus, get a color TV with every vehicle purchase. Only at the Faulkner Discount Used Car Center.
595-2000. Duxiana, with stores in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
12 minutes till the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. Tony Kornheiser, Jeff Greenfield, Phil Simms, maybe Fred, see what he's doing. A Subway Series editorial on why the Mets suck, and Richard Dixon and Manuel Noriega coming up. I'm trying to give away tickets to Saturday night's.
I think the Gore will probably end up doing that. I mean, it would, if you think it out just for 30 seconds, it's easy to imagine it being incredibly ugly and protracted and just the worst sort of lawyer shout fests over the next 2 weeks. And that's just the prospect of not having a president-elect makes people so uncomfortable. I just can't imagine Gore having the stones to go forward on that,
Were you or anybody else who you talked to surprised that Hillary Clinton won by as large a margin as she did, apparently 12 points?
No, not really. I mean, it's just because it's hard to imagine that much ticket splitting taking place in New York. But then, at least from my point of view, up until the end, I was counting on the nausea factor. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter how you get the idea for your online business, but it does.
Hello? Is that my toothbrush? Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter how you get the idea for your online business, but it does matter where you register.
That Governor Bush and I meet personally, one-on-one, as soon as possible before the vote count is finished, not to negotiate, but to improve the tone of our dialogue in America.
Once this election is over, I would be glad to meet with Vice President Gore, and I join him in pledging that regardless of who wins after this weekend's final count, we will work together to unite our great country.
Well, the final tallies will be coming out of Tallahassee, Florida. That's where Chris Jansing is standing by live right now. Chris, very presidential on both of their behalfs, but really it comes down to where you are, the courtroom right now, doesn't it?
Ascertainment after Saturday when the overseas votes come in?
I have no idea what that is.
The Electoral College certificates?
Last question.
Again, I don't know what letters of ascertainment are. I'm new to this.
Regardless of how this election turns out, I think you'd agree there's going to be a lot of Floridians who feel the result is not what they want. And
about half.
And how do you prepare to deal with that? And what do you say to Floridians?
Well, I've been thinking about it because it breaks my heart to see the passions overflow and to see this intense coverage of our state. First of all, it upsets me that, and I love Florida, I love our state, a handful of votes is creating a misimpression about our state. We're a progressive state with tremendous things going on. And so that's one thing that I'd like to see that we rectify. And also internally, there's going to be a lot of wounds that need to be healed. And I would hope that people in public life, including myself, would work on that, and we will.
Again, Jeb Bush, the governor of Florida, just a few moments ago, heading into his state cabinet meeting. And a rather interesting picture to be captured here because the number of players and people we've been talking about throughout this story and throughout the past 9 days are all now centered on that panel, still meeting again on the basement level underground here, the state administrative offices on the state grounds here in Tallahassee. On that board, you will see Jeb Bush, the governor, sitting in the middle. To his left is Bob Butterworth, a Democrat attorney general who headed up the Gore campaign in Florida. To his right is Bob Crawford. He's the Secretary of Agriculture and also the state canvassing commissioner who, in part, with two others, signed and certified the state vote last evening. Again, that vote that gives Bush a lead by 300 votes over Al Gore. To Bob Crawford's right is the Secretary of State, Katherine Harris, a woman who has come to the center of attention for the past week. It was she last night who announced to the country and really for the world for that matter that the vote has been locked in her estimation, and barring any legal changes right now, that vote still has the Texas governor with a slight lead. 6 million votes were cast in Florida last Tuesday, the 7th of November. It is clear that this race has come down to just a few hundred votes or possibly fewer in the Sunshine State. Again, that's the latest from Tallahassee. We're watching the countdown, and certainly we're watching the courts from every angle. Florida State Supreme Court here, and the Circuit Court over to my left. We'll have it all for you. More coming up shortly from Tallahassee. Now back to Stephen in Atlanta and the CNN Center.
If they didn't have a whole lot to say.
I don't need it. My dentures fit fine, thanks.
I've not had a problem in 15 years.
But then they...
全くありません。
全くない。亀井さんから先はそのようなお話は。
いや、そんなことは私にはありません。
ありません。絶対にありません。そんなバカなことは。
一方、外野席からも様々な声が飛び交います。
批判だけでしょうがないんで、加藤浩一みたいに。まあ、やっとこう同行したらしいけども。
Triple the amount, but you gotta call now. Here's how to order.
Call to order your 6
1, okay?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, people thinking about Christmas, but right now's the time when everybody starts eating and then not thinking about their waistline. Could we get another close-up shot of this one, guys? I know you're going to go to Kim in a second, but this...
If you had a new Capital One card, all your purchases would be interest-free until May 2001.
Gotta tell Steve and Laura about Capital One.
What's in your wallet?
Your forecast.
Palm Beach County, fascinating development down there. Florida is going to determine this whole election.
Breaking news on MSNBC. We bring you the whole picture.
As the Reagan campaign liked to say, it was morning in America.
Tonight, we rejoice in our democracy. We rejoice in the freedom of a wonderful people, and we accept their verdict.
It seems we did this 4 years ago, and let me just say, well, you know, good habits are hard to break.
Watch time.
Kermit the Frog's going to win. Sorry, not Kermit the Frog, George W. Bush. Sorry, I'm always getting my Muppets mixed up.
In London, they're laughing at us. The comics poke fun at our candidates and counting techniques.
Oh, they're counting, but just halfway through it, someone's bringing in donuts. And they're going like 6,700 donuts.
It goes like this, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's obviously been a mistake there somewhere, hasn't there? They can't. I think it's when they wet their finger and they're going like that, they wet it too much.
The British don't quite understand why it's taking the U.S. so long to figure out who won the elections. They're confused, intrigued, and having a bit of fun.
Comedians aren't the only ones having a field day with all of this. Plenty of other folks are getting a lot of good material.
It's just acres and acres of free extra copy day after day after day, which is what newspapers love.
Headlines and humor. Journalists are even thinking about this in their spare time.
Somebody emailed me today saying, seeing as the Americans can't choose their own president, maybe we should unilaterally revoke the Declaration of Independence and just take them back. We can sort it out for them. We can scrap Congress and we can appoint a minister for America.
So while George W. Bush and Al Gore have had little to smile about the last few days, people over here are definitely having the last laugh. In London, Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
Having a laugh, but they're interested as well, Kathy. I was telling you,
$1 purchase of 102 merchandise and get 2 kids passes to Disney's 102 Dalmatians, only in theaters and only at Kmart.
Nothing turns you. Very knowledgeable, has been on SWAT team a long time. He's the kind of guy, you ask you to do something, you do it. I mean, he's just a great guy.
D, the generation that was born digital and raised
raised on the net, speaking a language of zeros and ones. Now they're at WorldCom, developing web centers, the wireless internet. And for them, it's a joyride.
You sure about this?
I want everyone to know who I love. How much is this again?
50.
50. All I got is 41. Come on. I get it fixed, Donna.
One place to be in the mornings. Good Day Philadelphia. All live, all local, always Fox. If you haven't seen Good Day Philadelphia lately, you should see what you're missing. 2 full hours of weather, traffic,
2-mile jam up.
breaking news, and so much.
Follow the star to Bethlehem. Follow the star to Chris Kindlemart this season. Come look inside our holiday market and experience a world of delights for the whole family. Feast your senses on the surprises inside. Nutcrackers to enchant you as musicians perform the sounds of the holidays.
National correspondent Mike Betcher reports today's decision may make or break Gore's fight for the presidency.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Florida Supreme Court. Please be seated.
7 judges, 5 men, 2 women. The supreme authorities of Florida law, and maybe the final word in a presidential election.
In Volusia County, which used paper ballots, counters tallied only those where the voter marked inside the oval. The hand recount is finished there. But the other 3 counties use punch cards, and each sets its own guidelines. In Palm Beach County, even indented chads are counted. Broward County requires at least 2 corners of the chad be punched out. Miami-Dade, which starts its hand count tomorrow, has not yet finalized its plan.
Mark the ballots in keeping with state rules. We're now joined in Washington by former California Republican Congressman Bob Dornan and Democratic Attorney Richard Goodstein. Good to have you both with us.
Greetings.
Congressman Dornan, you went through a recount when you lost your election to Loretta Sanchez. Was that process at all like what the process is like in Florida right now?
And I would never authorize and not tolerate a strategy that was aimed at disqualifying military ballots. In fact, we think that the ballots, both the absentee ballots and the ones that are being hand counted in the 3 counties in South Florida now, deserve the benefit of the doubt. The whole idea here is to let the people express their will when they vote.
Welcome, analysts. But as everyone knows, you can't predict the weather. There's nothing you can do about it.
Fits so well, it's like a part of you. That's 18-hour custom comfort. The stretchable cups adjust as you need it. Custom comfort, the adjustable.
Good morning, I'm Caroline Shively. I'm as straight ahead after this quick check of the headlines. A critical court battle today in Florida could settle the outcome of the presidential race. At 2 this afternoon, the Florida Supreme Court will begin hearing arguments from the Bush and Gore camps.
I mean, I hate to be mean. I don't hate to be mean. I wouldn't have a show, wouldn't have a career. But let me just say this. We're all going to be 75 years old sometime and in Florida or someplace. Get those people out of there. I mean, that's insane. You can't have a bunch of old fools down there jacked up on digitalis counting anything. Look at that. That's the biggest mess. I mean, that's the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy. And on Friday, I was for this hand count. Well, they can't have any hand count. I mean, that's a hand job. I mean, that's ridiculous. Hand jive. Did you see that old babe fanning herself with a ballot? I saw that. Dropping them all over the Yes, floor? unfortunate. They got enough chits there. It looks like it broke open a pinata. Jesus God, who are you kidding? Oh, man, I mean, that is just And nice move on the Democrats to turn down all those military votes, huh? That's a good move for Al Gore and Joe Lieberman.
We have to challenge these things.
And then Lieberman goes on every program yesterday morning and lies through his teeth. He is so banned from this program, Bernie, for his lifetime. And I don't know if Orthodox Jews believe in reincarnation, but if that son of a bitch comes back, he's barred for that life too. God, what a lying, horrible, vicious weasel. He's worse than Gore. Wow. By the way, I'm back on Bush this morning.
Oh, my God,
now.
you got to stop.
Well, I'm back in the Bush camp. Because, well, this is an outrage. I mean, it really is an outrage. And if those 7 sissies in those robes on the Florida Supreme Court rule any way other than throwing it back to Morticia, whatever her name is, then Bo Dietl and me and Jimmy the Wags, well, I'm not going to go,
But you'll dispatch them, sure.
I will dispatch them to Florida, wherever they are.
Dope.
Yeah. La 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 la. One of these days I'm gonna spit this scene. Won't need no dope and no soap. I'll be Mr. Clean. Imus in the morning.
Oh, if I may quote to you, a long time ago, Justice John Marshall talked about the use of discretion in applying it to district courts, and John Marshall was reviewing a subpoena issued in the Aaron Burr litigation, and in talking about discretion said that, but a motion to its discretion is a motion not to its inclination, but to its judgment, and its judgment is to be guided by sound legal principles. Our concern...
Up to $200 on everything, from family-friendly HP PCs, printers, and scanners, to HP digital cameras and digital music, and some very special HP holiday gift sets, too. Believe you can make this the best holiday ever. Visit your nearest HP retailer or shop online at hpshopping.com. This year, there's no place like HP for the holidays.
It is 5 minutes past the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Stuart Taylor, Jeff Greenfield, Pete Williams, and probably all our regular reporters and all that stuff coming up. Plus, Manuel Noriega on recount lawyers. And you know, it is coming up on Thanksgiving. Wilford Brimley on a Quaker Oats turkey election special. It's another year where Wilford humps a turkey. So,
will it ever be?
Well, let me ask you a question. Whose idea on the Bush team was it to dig up Chris Farley, get him drunk, and let him go up there and sweat like a pig at a barbecue?
Wait a minute.
And represent the Bush team? Whose idea was that?
I don't know.
And whose idea was it on the Gore team to get Professor Irvin Corey to come in there? What was that yesterday? What? Well, did you see
Yes,
poor old Michael
I saw
Garvin?
Everything.
I mean, could he do any research? Could he have any idea what he was talking about? Did he have a clue even?
Oh, my God.
Could he have been more nervous?
He was a little flustered.
What was he, smoking crack before he came in there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did that look like Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live or not? Oh, absolutely. I mean, he hunched over the lectern there, just an absolute nervous wreck, his eyes darting back and forth.
Unfortunate.
Not a
That's
clue.
Unfortunate. An unfortunate characterization.
And then finally they got Barry Richard. Chuck calls him Little Richard. They got Little Richard up, and you know, this guy's pretty smooth. He wasn't going to take any crap off the biggest bunch of inarticulate political hacks that I've ever seen. These buffoons on the court out of an Elmore Leonard novel. It looks like something Carl Hyacin dreamed up, or one of those goofy Florida circus books he writes.
Was not impressed.
What a bunch of dopes! God Almighty! Did you see that old fool of Chief Justice? He's trying to ask Professor Irvin Corey Boyes there a question. It sounded like Brian Williams. He finally wound up saying, he just gave up, and he finally said, "Do you get my drift? You're a Supreme Court justice, you moron. You're not supposed to be wondering if we get your drift. What do you mean get your drift? What are you,
I hear you
nuts?
humming, Your Honor.
Oh, my God.
You want to hear this?
Yes.
All right, MSNBC's got a loop. Turn on whatever you have to turn on. Listen to this moron. Roll this thing. There we go.
All right.
Come on.
12th is the date by which the
we can't hear it, can we?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
They have to be, the certification has to be made for the Electoral College. And as I read Section 5 of the U.S. Code, that what that date means is that all of the controversies and contests in the state have to be finally determined by that date. Okay? You agree with that?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. In order for them to be conclusive in the Electoral College.
In order for them to be conclusive.
I don't think that. Hello?
The whole thing works
You
out
are
here at the
kidding
ranch.
me.
I mean, I have no idea why it works. I just went in there and tried to. I went in there and tried to. Well, I recorded this. That's how I was able to go
Son
back
of a
over
gun.
it.
Well, we'll figure that out.
Well, why can't we play a cut on MSNBC and why can't I hear it?
That was not the.
It wasn't coming to my headphones, and it wasn't coming over the speaker here, which means to me it's not on the radio. So I mean, what are the newspapers saying, Charles?
Now, front page analysis piece in the New York Times has quite a different take, I-Man, by David Firestone.
What is Mr. Firestone's take?
Such things as this: the court was off, sweeping aside speeches, skewering faulty arguments, drilling directly to the bone of the issues before them.
Oh, shut up.
For the rest of the afternoon, none of the high-priced lawyers standing before the 7 justices were allowed to drift off into the politically tinged orations they'd paraded before the cameras all week. And on and on.
Oh, well, that's true, but we knew that was going to happen. I mean, that's the way these Supreme Courts work. I mean, even I knew that. Even I knew
justice
that.
in turn bore down impatiently on lawyers for both sides.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough of these buffoons. So we never got to the part where...
No, we did not.
Where he finally gave up.
Not at all.
Well,
I don't know what that was, that particular piece.
Jesus, you know, we've got some incompetent buffoons over there at MSNBC. God, can't they cue up a tape? I gave him to the minute when it was in. It was 38 minutes past 2 o'clock Eastern time that this happened. I don't know why we can't roll that. Do you have any
I can't
idea?
answer that, I-Man.
I told him what the question was even. All right, we'll do the news. Let's go get back to it. But God, what a nightmare that was yesterday.
It was unbelievable.
I mean, and what is it? I mean, what is it? Did David Boies look like Professor Irvin Corey or not? Exactly. I mean, it's separated at birth. What was he thinking about?
That shirt? Did you see the collar deal? Good Lord.
And by the way, the Bush people could hire anybody. Well, why get some hack out of some bureaucratic lowlife, not a lowlife, but some clerk out of the Reagan administration, assistant attorney general or whatever the hell he was, sweating like a pig at the July 4th barbecue. Well, I'd call Charles. I said, whose idea was it to dig up Chris Farley?
No.
Honest, what was that all about? I mean, I was shocked, weren't you?
Well, particularly when Little Richard got on later and, kind of saved the day.
It was way too late.
It was way too late.
And then we had another great. Do you have the other cut ready? Let's try that. This is Judge Parente, the woman.
Yeah.
It's not ready. Of course not. This is Judge Parente, that the Judge PMS, I call her. Anyway, she should work for that Seeger Weiss law firm that advertises with us, because this woman was pissed off. Anyway, she's talking to Chris. She's talking to Bush's lawyer, Michael Carvin. She questions him for 5 minutes. Now, I checked. He was introduced to the court, of course. She questioned him for 5 minutes. And then at one point, she looks at him and she says, "You're representing Governor Bush, right?"
Oh, no.
Now you have that? Play this cut.
Here we go.
This is this towering legal figure from the Florida Supreme Court.
Prevented your client from requesting recants in the other counties?
Yes, they believe the process is inherently flawed and unconstitutional. But moreover, it doesn't matter if they requested it, because
Are you asking us to resolve that issue as to that is so even if we said that everyone has a chance for a window period to request a recount in whatever other counties are in question. Are you saying that it is the position of you representing Governor Bush?
Yes, sir.
Who am I?
That's enough. You're representing Governor Bush
here.
And you know why she didn't know? Because I replayed it a couple times. Because she was talking to the other babe about who the hell knows what they were going to do during the break, or who knows what she was talking to her about.
Under the ropes.
But she wasn't. But she sure as hell wasn't paying. These are the towering legal figures we were hearing about on the Florida Supreme Court. These are a bunch of deadbeats who couldn't get it done in private practice, and a poor old Governor Lawton Childs probably owed him something, or they did something for him, or raised money for him, and he sticks him on the Florida Supreme Court, and these morons are going to decide this? Why, I mean, this is outrageous. God, I mean, what a bunch of nitwits. Have you ever seen anything? How could you sit there and not know who the hell you were talking to? I knew. Well, I mean, oh, God almighty. Play some spots here.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright. And I pity any boy who isn't me tonight. See the pretty boy in the mirror there. Who cannot attract him, God be. Such a pretty face, such a pretty smile. Such a pretty me, baby. I feel stunned and enchanted. Feel like running and dancing for joy. For I'm in love like a pretty, wonderful boy. Shut up. Imus in the morning.
Well, it's that special time of year again, the holiday season. And this time around, of course, voting season. Time when folks, without something loving from the oven to distract them, tend to get their innards in an uproar, arguing like a pack of banjos.
River Road next to Whole Foods. Call 1-800-776-SUIT.
Well, before we get started here at 5 minutes after the hour on the Imus in the Morning program, we'll see if this still holds up.
Presidential election needs a correction, a further inspection. There's some imperfections, problems in Florida. Call out the counselor. Is it just a fluke? A W's brother is a governor. Look out, Bush, it's a blackjack push. Thought you were an easy street, had your opponent beat. He should have been dead meat. Instead, it's just a dead heat. Now goes trying to cheat like some low-life deadbeat. Will he snatch a victory out the gaping jaws of defeat? A lot of begrudging, but nobody's budging. Supreme Court curmudgeons are doing the judging. Hand count you couldn't freeze. Counties doing what they please. Trying to throw the ballots out that came in from overseas. Look out, Gore, there's punch cards on the floor. Refusing to accept your fate, even though it's checkmate. Don't hesitate to litigate. Force them to recalculate. Ignore that painted lady Secretary of State. Why not just abdicate? You know you're the losing candidate. So much haranguing over Chads that are hanging, dimpled and pregnant into louder strumming, dranging. West Palm sings the blues, cause all of them retired Jews claim that Buchanan really ain't the candidate they choose. Look out, Pat, here comes that Democrat to take them votes away from you, claiming they was misconstrued, copying an attitude, taking him a pretty wide slice of legal attitude, with that phony smile and another one of his cliche platitudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's a solution? Won't be no resolution when lawyers are interpreting the U.S. Constitution. Methods defective, nobody's objective. Can't be circumspect when it depends on their perspective. Look out, Bill, maybe you should sit still. Cause even though you're just a worm who's full of air and full of sperm and stuck his little willy in a silly little intern. It looks like it could be a while before the win is confirmed. So maybe we should just go ahead, give you another turn.
Well, that still works. Works for me, doesn't it, Chuck?
It sounds very germane, I mean.
So I'm saying to Charles, As soon as the decision comes down last night at 9:45 Eastern Time, the only thing I'm concerned about is did we lose a bit?
Well, priorities. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost 8 minutes after the hour here in the Imus in the Morning program.
nightmare.
Well, coming up this morning, Mary Matlin, Senator Bob Kerrey, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Senator Zell Miller, former governor from Georgia. He'll be on. And we'll also work on a little football with Phil Simms and Fred Imus and some other stuff. We'll have usual NBC reporters on, and maybe others as well. And in case you missed the remarks of Vice President Gore last night, and I'm watching him and Joe Lieberman, they're speaking from the Vice President's residence, and I'm thinking, God, you can't tell me that these two slime balls are going to be. And then also, hey, Chris, did you find out how long Jim Baker's initial remarks were? So we'll replay the Vice President's remarks, and we'll replay Jim Baker's remarks, so you get a good sense of what's going on. Anyway, before we get into all this, we'll talk to Mike Barnacle coming up at 20 minutes after the hour. Well, Gore's remarks were 3 minutes and 30 seconds long, and Baker's remarks were 4 minutes and 40 seconds long, so we can play both of those. So, I mean, so you get something that may be boring to some of you, but it's not. You got to use
Absolutely.
You need to check it out. All right, here's Chuck with the news, and the national news is sponsored by.
Not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
Imus in the morning.
Do something that would allow him to be remembered after he died that really benefited his fellow citizens. In fact, when he was in a huge depression in the winter of 1840, he thought he would commit suicide. People took knives away from him. They were afraid, but he said he couldn't die yet because he hadn't done anything to be remembered. When he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, he told the same friend, he said, I've now realized my fondest hope. That's what we got to hope, that one of these two guys, when they get in, will have an ambition larger than sitting there and hearing Hail to the Chief. And they're going to have to marry the opposite party. I mean, just like Lyndon Johnson did. When he got in under those circumstances, he said, I called up those guys at 6 in the morning, at 12 at midnight. I had them over. I slept with them. I did more with them than I did with my wife, Lady Bird. One of these guys is going to have to bring the other person's party into the cabinet. They're going to have them sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom. And maybe
those questionable ballots were sorted out earlier. These were the ballots that were without a real clear indication of which hole or how a hole was punched through or not punched through. Now, this board made up of 3 people: Judge Robert W. Lee, a Democrat, Suzanne Gunsberger, a Democrat, and Judge Robert Rosenberg, a Republican, the only Republican on the board. Rosenberg replaced Jane Carroll, also a Republican, who quit earlier this week on Monday. Now, Judge Rosenberg said earlier he knows, now he is on the firing line. Yesterday, during the count of those questionable ballots, one GOP lawyer and observer, Bill Scherer, became frustrated with how the recount was moving, began talking a little too loud. Judge Lee, the man running the Broward recount, told Scherer to be quiet or else.
You do not have the right to speak, sir. Well, I'm telling you, sir, that's, you can kick me out of here if you want to.
The bottom line was Bill Scherer eventually stood there, and within a matter of moments, security officers, you see him there one by one standing on both sides of Bill Scherer. They did remove him. He was put in cuffs, and on our air earlier this morning, Bill Scherer said that his hands were still a little roughed up by those handcuffs being on there, but he was eventually released. He was not arrested. We need to make that very clear, though he was led away. This morning, as you can see, the crowd of Bush supporters still here behind me. We do understand that roughly right around 8:30 or so this morning, Eastern Standard Time, we do understand that indeed this recount of those questionable ballots, in all a little more than 1,000 or so questionable ballots, John, we're told, they have started going through those again. We've got this 3-member board, 2 Democrats, 1 Republican. Those people up there right now on the 6th floor of the Broward County Courthouse here in Fort Lauderdale, taking a look very carefully at each and every one of those questionable ballots, holding it up to the light, making sure that they can see a hole punched through there, specifically either for Al Gore, George W. Bush, or another presidential candidate. That's what's going on. They've got about nearly 700 or so of those questionable ballots still to go through. I think the rough number right now exactly is about 686. While that goes on upstairs on the 6th floor of this building, count on these Bush supporters being out here. We've seen a couple of Gore supporters come out here that were actually shouted down. These folks here behind me, of course, had their bullhorns. And while the Gore supporters were trying to make their case for Al Gore becoming the next president of the United States. These Bush supporters really drowned them out, and eventually those Gore supporters walked away. And as they walked away, this crowd here certainly making noise, making it known that they were happy. We're live right now here in Fort Lauderdale. Orlando Salinas, John, back to you.
Machines. Those are those little folding machines with the stylus that you punch through the ballot. The gentleman who is about to speak here, he's being questioned by canvassing member Judge Robert Burton. The gentleman is one of the inventors of the vote-o-matic vote tallying system. Let's hear for just a moment what he has to say.
Clearly, to contest these actions as provided under Florida law and in accord with the decision of the Florida Supreme Court.
All right, George W. Bush reluctant to take on the title of president-elect. And in fact, Karen Hughes, his spokesperson, says, no, we're going to call him governor, or at least until we see what the Supreme Court is going to do on Friday. But Bush is starting to put some sort of transition team in place, and he said that Dick Cheney will be working with the Clinton administration to open a transition office in Washington.
We will therefore undertake the responsibility of preparing to serve as America's next president and vice president.
I don't know if that's safe for him to, well, maybe it is. You know, I've got a current events question I want to ask you. Call me right now at 1-800-370-IMUS. If you can answer correctly this current events question, I'll give you $250 worth of any merchandise you want from the Auto Body Express, and it's all neat stuff.
Wow. So. All right.
1-800-370-IMUS. If you can answer this question correctly. It's a difficult question. I could not answer it.
All right.
But Charles could.
I doubt it. Go ahead.
Well, no, you could.
Oh, okay.
Or Bernard probably could. So call now, and I'll talk to you morons. 12 after the hour.
One last thing here quickly, I-Man. There's a new poll out about...
More than convenience. So, as provided under Florida law, I have decided to contest this inaccurate and incomplete count in order to ensure the greatest possible credibility for the outcome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty noble standards to me. Huh?
I mean, it's fine, but he's just a phony. God almighty, what a lying weasel.
Gore spoke some hours after his lawyers filed papers in Leon County Circuit Court.
Ladies and gentlemen, George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were. Well, lads, that's it. Checkmate. Done. Fait accompli. Like it or not, and there are legions who don't, the torch is passed. We have a new man at the top. The transition has begun. It is over. Agreed? I said agreed, maggots?
Sir? Yes, sir. Agreed, sir. All hail President George W. Bush, sir.
No, not that, idiot. I'm referring to the transition succession phase for an office that means something. An office that actually has some relevance to our national interests, rather than that other one that's been transformed into a national punchline by its current occupant.
Sir, are you saying...
Very perceptive of you, Private. You have permission to complete the General's thought.
You're saying that Jack Welch has named his successor at GE?
I am.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The humanity.
At ease.
Who is it, sir? Who got it? Whose hand will be on the helm of our military-industrial complex?
Well, as you people are aware, there were 3 possibilities considered. Let's take a look. Private, give me the overhead. Slide 8.
Again. So come on, Jack, be nimble. Jack, be quick. Jack Flash sat on a candlestick, 'cause
activity moving into the area. So clouds, a sun break today, 52 degrees, winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight we'll be looking for partly cloudy skies, 35 degrees with light winds, and then tomorrow becomes cloudy. We've got a chance of rain, mild enough though at 52 degrees. Wednesday night, very late Wednesday night, maybe more likely on Thursday morning when we get enough of this cold air in here.
Jocelyn's at the back door, Monica. She wants to speak with you. Right now we have cloudy skies, 45 degrees in Philadelphia. AccuWeather says a mixture of clouds and sunshine today. Our afternoon high 52, but we're tracking a storm. Could bring us some messy weather by Thursday.
Probably the best one we've seen so far this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, well, only second to the one of Center City.
We like that one too. You're right.
I think it's marvelous. Let me show you what's happening with the weather. The temperatures are cool, but not all that cold, in the 30s and 40s this morning. We're heading for a day a lot like what we saw yesterday with...
Thanks.
Well, credit card debt puts a big chill on holiday spending plans.
Jane King live at the Stock Exchange with Money Matters. Jane.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, John and Lynn. You know,
Hey, great Tuesday morning to you. Yeah, we're talking some high school football. Big games
This Friday night, 4 area teams remain in the state playoffs.
Slightly unsettled weather conditions across the northeastern corridor. In fact, this morning, there's a minor upper air disturbance that's been swirling around the Great Lakes area and will likely be continuing to pivot its way across the northeast, setting off just a few sprinkles and maybe some light snow flurries here and there.
Bueno, ahora estás así congeladito, ¿ah? Bueno, mientras que tú duermes ahí, te voy a dar las temperaturas y todo eso para que tú veas la baja presión que ya empieza a acumularse por la región de los Grandes Lagos en estos momentos. Y después de eso, lo que sí vamos a ver, vamos a ojear esto por las próximas 12 horas que pasa nuestra área poco a poco en el gráfico del satélite. Ahora, no hay muchos problemas aquí, alta presión se encuentra muy bien. Se encuentra muy...
Canes, right after this.
What decided to make a construction crane its home?
The story that has feathers ruffled at a construction site is coming up next on Newswatch 16's Morning Express.
Your daily number was 895. The big four, 1652, cash 5, 12, 22, 32, 33, and 39.
Finance savings depend on model and are based on average total payments for applicable models financed for a maximum loan term July through September by CF.
To this thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even the inventor of the machine said publicly, if they're not upkept properly, you can have error, and the only way to actually tell the real count is to have a hand count.
Did you see him testify?
I did not.
Guy's 151 years old.
Well,
Secretary. I mean,
look who's talking.
Where did that come from? What are you, nuts?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
We're talking with a good-natured Howard Feynman from Newsweek magazine. Well, they got Little Richard now, Barry Richard, for the Charles calls him Little Richard with his pompadour and all that stuff. And
He looks like a member of the Four Seasons. You remember that?
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely. On tour now.
If you pay for insurance, auto, health, or life, here are 3 reasons to go.
The fight, the vice president yesterday put himself before the country and reporters to try and shore up what may be some waning degree of support for him. Gore stuck to the message that every vote has got to be counted, and when asked why he proposes recounting ballots only in the Democratic counties in Florida, here is what the vice president had to say.
We were perfectly willing, and would still be willing, to have a hand count in the entire state. I know that it's less of a realistic possibility now, but I've always been open to that. The counties selected are ones that have these machines and where there were obvious problems on Election Day.
Mr. Gore is expected to state his case once again in an appearance this morning on the NBC Today show. Aye, man. But concern continues to grow that Gore's message is mixed, actually, with the reality that the time might expire before all of his arguments and cases can be fully expressed in the courts.
Well, I mean, it is just over. Whether it should be over or not is another story, but it is over. And he just has to get the message. It's over.
As he put it, he said Bush is to blame for, quote, 2 weeks of additional court proceedings and additional hearings.
Oh, okay, but it's still over.
Longtime Gore advisor Carter Eskew says the vice president is showing some frustration in his off-camera moments.
Well, it's over.
And that they're going to try to put him out there every day to keep his face before the people and his case before the people.
And further irritate all of us.
Between now and Friday when they go to the Supreme Court.
That'll hide him like they're doing the other numbskull. Send him down to a ranch.
Send him back to Vietnam.
Yeah, I mean.
But that's essentially where we are. I mean, there's very, very little change. Just looking at Judge N. Sanders Sauls down there and see what he's going to do on Saturday when now there's going to be a hearing on this recount issue out of Miami-Dade and Palm Beach.
The late and quite dead Richard M. Nixon.
Indeed, indeed. And thank you very much for finally seeking my counsel in these extraordinary circumstances our nation is facing. Imus, in the morning. I'll be brief.
Good.
You. As you're aware, being a student of political history yourself, I, too, confronted extraordinary events during one period of my years in public service.
Yeah, you got impeached.
Nearly got impeached, Dono. Instead, I chose the more noble course. When Dick Nixon encountered an untenable situation in his presidency...
You got the out.
I got the out. I did not choose the dangerous course Vice President Al Gore has embarked upon in his struggle with Governor George W. Bush. Nick Nixon faced facts. He saw the hounds arrayed before him. He did not want their rapacious jaws clinging to his ass, so he got the out. Now our nation again faces the specter of constitutional crisis, although, in my view, an artificial crisis, fostered, nurtured, and given its subsistence, I'm sure you'll agree, by the most transparent, grasping, power-mad lowlife our federal government's ever seen.
Al Gore.
Hell no. Joe Lieberman. Good Lord. Has Beanie Bopper revealed himself to be the ultimate slime ball or what? Talk about being willing to compromise everything, JD. What's next for this guy? Department store Santa? Plays an angel in a manger scene? He's got his nose buried so far up Al Gore's butt, he's going to be able to see Tom Daschle and Dick Gebhardt if he's not careful. Now, this whole matter has now gone from the sublime to the ridiculous. We've had the election, the protest phase, the contest phase. So now what? The tantrum phase? Hey, you egomaniacs, how about the exit phase? The moving vans are in front of the mansion, get the hell out phase. You know, Gore keeps saying in those ponderous, condescending, pious tones that this is all about principle. Then why in God's name don't you act on principle, you overbearing bastard, and get out while you have any principle left? You lost the election, Tobacco Boy. Get over it. And please, drop the lame flag bit. Have you seen both these guys, Gore and Bush, trying to outflag each other in those idiotic photo ops? I'm thinking we're 5 minutes from one of them showing up in an Uncle Sam suit. Well, like you, Dono, I'm sick of both of them. But be that as it may, one of them won and one of them lost. And I don't give a damn what the undercount or overcount or sideways count says. The certified count, for about the 50th time, says Bush. By the way, is Warren Christopher all right, I mean? Well, I mean, we know he wasn't getting it done. Just look at the polls. But no one seems to have seen him for several days. And you know how judgmental these Clinton-Gore people can be when things go awry. Well, you get my drift, to quote the Florida Supreme Court Chief Justice? Jesus, there's a judicial scholar, huh? Well, anyway, I just hope old Warren hasn't, had a date with an artillery piece in a park somewhere or something. Anywho, time for, I don't know, maybe Barbara Streisand and Alec Baldwin to pick up the phone and call Al Gore and give the boy the news. Your country hates you. Get that sappy daughter, your saccharine wife, your running mate in Hadassah, and move to Canada. So, what have we learned today, Dono? As I see it, not a lot more than this. While they both might have dimples, hanging Chad and hung Chad are two distinctly different matters. In that vein,